So when we talk about basketball awards, peaking at the right time matters. A lot of people will vote on basketball awards based on recency bias. There's never not been a case. If one player has a better first half of the season, another player has a better second half of the season, and for the totality of the season, they've been incredibly close. The player with the better second half always wins. And when it comes to JuJu Watkins, I think JuJu Watkins has put herself right back into that conversation. Not even a conversation. She is probably the favorite for National Player of the Year. Notre Dame, Hannah Hidalgo has had a really iffy last couple of games. So she's averaging very comparable points to JuJu Watkins. I would actually say they're even on the defensive end. I think Hidalgo is way better on the perimeter. JuJu Watkins is a much better rim defender. She's more of like an all-around off-ball defender. But the two losses in a row has basically meant that, Hidalgo, if anything, Notre Dame might have gone from the number one ranked team in the nation to no longer a number one seed. Because in the last thing, are they still number one? They're number 3 in the nation at 25-4. Whereas USC lost to these. They lost to Notre Dame. They lost to who else did they lose to? They only lose 2. They might have only lost 2 games, because I know they lost to Iowa, which was a crazy one. And they had a lot of close games, but USC went 26-2 and they won the Big Ten. They won the Big Ten, which was a big one against UCLA yesterday. And man, UCLA might be frauds. They were not better than Iowa. They got lucky against Iowa. As much as I like Lauren Betts a player, they might be frauds. And the mad thing is with USC is that they've had a lot of weird games where they've almost lost to bad teams. And they've then gone and, pulled it out as the potential number 2 team, one of the guaranteed number 1 seeds coming into the tournament. But still, it's a real interesting one in the National Player of the Year conversations, because JuJu Watkins is averaging the same amount of assists, shooting worse than the field, and there is 0.1 in points per game. And on the defensive end, they're the same. The difference is that in JuJu Watkins' big games, when people watched, she was completely outplayed against Notre Dame. Completely outplayed in this game. 10 of 25 in the field. And by the way, JuJu Watkins, again, did not shoot 50%. JuJu did not shoot the greatest percentage, but she still came in with 3 blocks, 30 points, and was the offense. She's had a lot of good games. But again, some of these have been okay. Some of these have been iffy. But if you're looking here and you're looking at her games, you're like, oh, some of these aren't great games. And they're like, she was horrific when they almost lost to Washington. But it doesn't matter. Do you want to know what games people watched? People watched this UCLA. People didn't care that she had a 14, a 17, and a 17 on 11. No one cares that she went 5 of 21 and had 17 points in a game against Ohio State. I mean, she got carried by other players. When people watched, she had 38 against UCLA, 30 against UCLA. She's still at 27 against Iowa, even though she was terrible in that game. And she had, was it 25 against UConn? But 25 and an efficient 25. In fact, that UConn game is the second last time she shot above 50% of the field. But Hidalgo's peaked at the wrong time. Hidalgo was superb. She was absolutely superb up to a point. You're looking at Hidalgo's games. She was killing it. But if you look at Hidalgo's last games, since the Stanford game, 10 of 20, 11 points and 17 shots, 19 on 6 of 15 from the field. Not too bad. Winning as Duke is good. And then 5 of 12 from the field for 18 points. She was injured for a little bit as well. And then you're 26 in the double overtime game. She was unbelievable in regulation, by the way. I don't think she scored a point in either overtimes. She had 16 on 18 shots in a loss against FSU. But the player that I would personally, if you're asking me who I'm giving the player of the year to, they're third in the ACC. This is a team that is 23-6. They are 23-6. Like, they beat Notre Dame. They got to play Duke. If Florida State beat Duke, and Tania Latson balls out, I'm giving Tania Latson Player of the Year. Like, that would be my opinion of it all. But what JuJu Watkins did, in my opinion, I think over the course of the season, I would put them at a near equal. JuJu Watkins and Hannah Hidalgo. The problem is, Hidalgo did not peak at the right time. And had they beaten FSU and had they beaten NC State, even though she was bad in those games, they're the number 1 ranked team in the nation, and Hidalgo's there. The difference is that JuJu Watkins carried a greater offensive load. I think when you're talking about teammates, I would say they have very similar level teammates. And if you're asking me who had the better season overall, it's really close. It's a really, really close one. But because JuJu peaked at the right time, because JuJu played 2 huge games against UCLA, who, in fairness, like the way UCLA guarded JuJu Watkins was like, let's hope JuJu Watkins goes and gives us 50. And they actually dared her to give them 50, and in fairness, she killed him twice. But yeah, it's one of those things that she's gonna win it. There's no point debating it. And this isn't one of those, the media is rigging it for JuJu. No, like there is a 3-person debate for this, and you can go either way. It is Tania Latson, JuJu, and Hannah Hidalgo. In my opinion, the media are the reason why Hannah Hidalgo is not in the conversation. Like, not Hannah Hidalgo, sorry, Tania Latson. So it's Tania Latson, Hannah Hidalgo, and JuJu Watkins. The media is the reason why Tania Latson's not in the conversation. And I think it should be Tania Latson, but I don't think you can go wrong with any of these 3 players. Lauren Betts, no. After what she did in both games against USC, no. Take Lauren Betts out of that. But I think maybe Lauren Betts, she's still first team All-American. She's still number 4. But with the way Lauren Betts has been playing, you take her out of that conversation. If they won last night, maybe she's in it. Maybe she goes, especially if she dominate, maybe she goes and is number 1. But yeah, it's now a situation where it should be between those 3. You can't go wrong with either of them. But because Tania Latson isn't at one of these big colleges, even though she carried Florida State to a 23-6-6 record or something, if she carried Florida State to that, then like even if she did that, they don't care. So with JuJu Watkins, she's JuJu, and Hidalgo's at Notre Dame. So I think that is very much a debate, and I think JuJu Watkins is going to win it. So yeah, you know what? I'm not going to complain. Like, my difference between JuJu Watkins and Tania Latson is like this. So the fact JuJu Watkins is basically guaranteed to win it, I don't think anyone should complain about it. She's going to win it. JuJu's exceptional. She's absolutely exceptional. And she could go and win another 2 or 3 in her college career. She genuinely might. And that is, if she does that, fair play to her. But now when it comes to JuJu Watkins, like JuJu Watkins is, look, she's well and truly going to be for the rest of her college career in that, does she have a better college career than Caitlin Clark? She's not going to get close to the scoring record. And she's got to win, in my opinion, she's got to win 3 Player of the Years and 2 championships and 2 rings. 3 Player of the Years and a ring, and then the debate's really close because obviously a lot of good players are going to USC. He's playing with a bunch of 5-stars, so it's not quite the same as Caitlin Clark deal with Iowa. But Caitlin Clark's junior and senior seasons were so good. But I think, like, look, up to this point, as far as their college careers go, freshman, sophomore year, even if they get upset second round of the tournament, Caitlin Clark did in her second year, through 2 years, JuJu Watkins has been arguably the best college player of all time. Or at least through 2 years, she's been better through 2 years than the best college player of all time was through 2 years. But anyway, I'll see you guys.